The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.
Welcome to How to Money with Cole and Cole.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Cole.
We coach people every day on their money and how to plan for the future.
As financial advisors, we're here to have an honest conversation on investing, retirement, and everything in between.
At Full Swing Financial Planning, we're here to empower you to take control of your plan, your way, for your financial future.
So let's talk money.
And sports.
Welcome back to How to Money with Cole and Cole, but only one Cole here today, Cole Jaski.
Yep, Cole P is out. So
He's
we got two honorary guests today.
Yes.
So,
We're here with Andrea, Oswald, and Mackenzie Ramthun with Rejuvenate Health and Wellness. Welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, this is a hot topic, wellness, hormone therapy. I feel like there is just this explosion in this world of what you guys do. But
Bailey's giddy. She was giddy about this. So to talk about
I love this stuff. Like, I love people being in control of their health. And anyways, real quick, Cole J, you can do some, we're not going to do much sports because.
Yeah, Cole P's gone. So he's normally our sports guy. I get all the, sports talk. But we're just going to get a shout out to the Cyclones. So the only team currently in the country, Division I team, that has preseason women's basketball ranked in the top 10, men's basketball in the top 10, and the Iowa State football team's currently number 10. They tried to lose last week. But came back at the end.
That was crazy.
That was a crazy game.
Are you guys Cyclone fans?
Well,
No.
Hawkeye.
Same.
We have two kids, one at Iowa, one at Iowa State. So we are kind of like, we have to be
Both
Cyclone
worlds.
fans.
Yeah.
But
Both worlds.
Yeah, I cheer for all of Iowa because I'm like,
Yeah.
it looks so much better when every team wins.
Same.
Yes,
Yep.
for sure.
But when they play, it's okay to have one. But it's not. Anyways, enough of that. Also, if anyone cares, the New York Liberty won their first WNBA title on a very, very controversial
Bailey's
call.
our
basketball,
our women's basketball expert on the podcast.
I'm our women's expert on the podcast.
Okay.
That's why we have you guys.
That would make sense.
All right, let's get into it though. So why don't you tell our listeners what is Rejuvenate Health and Wellness and what do you guys do?
Okay. We are a functional or integrative medicine practice. So what that means is we focus on holistic, natural type of healthcare. We complement conventional healthcare. So for instance, if people come in on medication, we might suggest supplements that might help them in whatever health issue they're having or whatever. But I guess that's our main focus, right? But we also do some med spa stuff. So we do have some machines and some Botox and fun things like that. But our main goal is to do the functional or integrative medicine, which encompasses a lot of things, which we can check out.
Yeah. Well, I personally actually went to you guys. Was it like, God, I was thinking this. I was dating it by my kid
I feel like it was about 2 years.
2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was right when you started because I had just got done having kids. I had my third kid and I really wanted to get my hormones looked at. I was tired, working mom, all that stuff. But I know you guys do a lot and you have a background in cardiology, right?
Yep.
So how long were you at the cardiology at Iowa Heart Center here in Fort Dodge?
Yep.
Both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was 17 years.
Wow.
And I was just shy of 20 when I finally checked the box.
Tell us about that thought process. How are you're at Iowa Cardiology, you're working for the hospital, you're doing things. What made you even think like, I want to get into this world? Because I would say, and you maybe it's blown up, I feel like in the last couple of years, this whole world, you see these spas and like natural medicine coming up. Like what made you start thinking about this and thinking, ooh, I could do this on my own?
Well, that thought didn't come right away. So anyway, I've always loved preventative medicine. And so even when I was at Iowa Heart, I didn't run it, but I was our local preventative provider, right? So once or twice a month, we'd have a prevention clinic. So people that were into primary like prevention, as far as they didn't have any heart issues but wanted to prevent that, they would come in, or even secondary prevention. So people that had had a heart attack but were interested in how they could prevent a second one. So I would see them for that. So I've always had this love for preventative, like what you can do in your life to change the trajectory of your health. But as far as like how my personal journey started actually when the CrossFit gym opened here in town. So that was, I think maybe like 12-ish years ago. My husband and I started working out there, and part of the CrossFit philosophy is the paleo diet. And that takes out, sugars, kind of processed grains, all that stuff. So we cleaned up our diet and I realized how much better I felt. So then I was starting to think like food is medicine, right? What you put in is creating
what you get out,
right? Or how you feel. And so anyway, that prompted me to start down the podcast, paleo, and that led to functional medicine. And then I was like, what is functional medicine? And then led me to the Institute of Functional Medicine, where I took several courses to kind of get more versed in that. And then that kind of morphed into, like anti-aging, like longevity. Like, so I've done a lot with, it's called the A4M. It's the anti-aging medicine, society or whatever.
All these acronyms,
yes,
right? And
right.
yep.
Right. So anyway, I've taken, so that led me to the bioidentical hormones, which has been like huge. It's all part of wellness,
Yeah.
that kind of
Well,
thing.
the body is so complex, and I think it's obviously there's more and more information coming out instead of waiting till you're sick to like what you're basically waiting till you're unhealthy. Let's prevent from being unhealthy, and let's prevent disease instead of waiting to treat the disease.
Yes. And the other focus too, is like root cause, like why are you having these symptoms, or why is your blood pressure high? Or, it's like, let's get to the bottom of that before we just kind of put a Band-Aid in a pill or whatever it is.
Like treat the one little symptom instead of treat what's actually
Yes.
coming wrong with you.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were going to say something, then I
Yeah.
was gonna give you
No,
the mic.
you guys are good. Sorry. I was just going to try to loop.
Okay, go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I just like to listen.
No, you're
No.
I feel like my back's.
Yeah. No.
I know you kind of do this.
So, Kenzie, talk a little bit, I guess, your guys' partnership and your role, and maybe give us your background.
Yeah.
Kind of how you got to here too as well.
Well, I started at Iowa Heart also, and I'm like the poster child for Andrea. So I feel like I can like be on the commercials.
She's doing all the things.
Yeah, I do all the things. And she first got me into doing what she was doing just by eating lunch with me at Iowa Heart. She's like, you need to come see me. Like I was having all of the symptoms. And so I started with her before she was on her own, kind of doing the hormones and different stuff. And then that kind of after COVID, I think I just got sick of sitting behind a computer. I couldn't see my patients anymore. I did a lot of just behind the scenes stuff and just kind of got sick of it. So I had quit Iowa Heart and was actually going to go help at the community orchard and just help my brother out there. And Andrea's like, I think I want to do this on my own. Like I want to, open a functional med clinic, and I need your help. And so that's kind of how it trickled to me helping Andrea, is just kind of, I was doing the things and then I left and she needed somebody. So
Yeah, now you're the dream team.
Yeah.
It literally started 1 or 2 days a month. We would,
I was
be
just
there
gonna
maybe
ask
half
this.
a day, and then it just, we cannot believe to this day, like how much people have talked about it and they're referring people, and
Is most word of mouth at the beginning?
It really
Because it
is.
was all just kind of word of mouth.
It was word of mouth. That's how I heard about
Well,
you
and
guys.
we are awful at doing like online presence stuff. Like we're not good at it and we don't like to do it. And so it really is just like a friend tells a friend and then tells a friend, and it just kind of trickled. And I started begging her for more days. I'm like, Andrea, these people don't want to see me. I'm like, they don't want to talk to me. I'm like, I need you more. And that's kind of, it was
slowly over the course
Yeah,
of
talk
a
about
couple
that
years.
transition. So, because you were still working at the Iowa Heart Center and doing this part-time, correct?
Yeah. So I started, like I said, 1 or 2 days a month. When I was off at Iowa Heart, I would be there. And then it grew to where about a year later, I cut my hours down at Iowa Heart. I was still kind of 3/4 time there. And then we could do 1 or 2 days a week at Rejuvenate. And then April of this year, Kenzie was like, dude, you either have to
We're all in.
you either have
let's
to
go.
say no to people that want to come see you at Rejuvenate, or you got to do something. And so,
Well, that's probably pretty scary though, because you had been at the hospital for how long, and then now you're a business owner. Now you're making your own hours,
Yeah.
and we were kind of talking about that off mic. What's it like now to be a business owner, own your business, be so busy, and then also now you're not the 9 typical. Got to be your 8. Got to see all your patients. I'm on a schedule. It's kind of your own thing now.
it is. It's great. I have flexibility that I've never had before. But it also comes with a little bit of stress, just making sure people are still interested, coming through the door. What can we do, to kind of keep people interested?
But you feel happy about the decision going, because you guys just
100%.
went full time.
Yeah.
Both of you.
It'll be, well, I've always been just full time with her. So but yeah, April. And it's crazy how like some weeks it will look like she'll look at the schedule and be like, Kenzie, like
It's not very
what the
busy.
heck, where's everybody? But then like there's phone calls every day. Like in Lake City yesterday, like at least one new patient just walked in, so we have a lot of people that reach out, on a daily, and yeah, I'm like,
It's been good.
It's good.
So maybe talk about if people are having a hard time understanding, what do you all offer? And like, let's say they're a first time person, like pretend I haven't ever had an experience with you guys. Cole Jaskie's coming in.
This is actually, because I was kind of thinking this of like, what would that experience, or why would someone be reaching out to,
let's pretend Cole J doesn't really know what you guys all do.
Yeah.
And tell him what you offer and like what that would look like for him to start, like the initial.
Love to role play.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what we offer, and then Kenzie can kind of take, because she's the one that mans the phone, and the first call comes to her.
Kind of the
But-
onboarding. Or
Yeah, exactly. So, so we offer like functional medicine consults, and that would include things like gut health, just maybe people that are interested in checking labs and want to just see what they can do to get healthy or whatever. Also like thyroid. We have some people that come for thyroid. We also do weight loss. So we dabble with weight loss medication, which is great. It's supervised medical weight loss. We do bioidentical hormones, and that can vary from creams to pellets, those kind of things. What else did I write down? Med spa stuff. That's kind of a different arm of what our main focus is, but definitely that's kind of the.
You guys still do the IV therapy, right?
IV nutrition. Yep.
Just promoting that because I loved it when I did.
So it's like if I'm, super hungover. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. Need some hydrate.
Yeah.
That
works.
So like if you were to call me, I typically just ask them, well, what's been going on? Like, are you having symptoms, or like what's kind of your focus? And then I kind of tell them what I think, because some will be like, well, I think I just want my labs drawn. And it's like, well, what's going on? Like there's tons of different labs we can draw. So we just kind of talk it out. And most people are like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I have no energy. I work out every day. I still, gain 20 pounds if I look at a cookie. Like what's going on with me? Just different things like that. They can't sleep. Libido is huge. No one wants to talk about it, especially men, but it really is a big thing. So then we just kind of say, all right, well, let's set you up. A consult's an hour long. We do a conversation. Andrea literally sits with you and talks about everything.
She asks you a lot of questions.
Lots of questions, even from like when you're a kid to like adult, like now. She'll go through everything, and then she kind of decides which lane to go down. And from there, we just kind of go from there and
start drawing labs.
Yeah. Like it trickles down. Like there's different labs that we do. Like sometimes we like to do urine labs or stool labs or like spit labs. So it just all after that consult, you kind of get an idea what you want to do. And then it just kind of goes from there, and it snowballs,
Do you have an area that you feel like is rapidly growing faster than other areas, or is it kind of like across the spectrum?
I would say it's bioidentical hormones. People are interested in treating their hormones, and weight loss are two big.
Maybe go into that more for a listener that doesn't know what hormone replacement means.
I was kind of thinking that. I'm like, what does that mean?
And
so
I've experienced it with you guys and we talked about it, but maybe for someone who's like, what does that mean versus like waiting till I have an issue or something like that?
Yeah. Okay. So bioidentical is just a fancy way of saying they're plant-based hormones that our body sees as, quote, identical as our own natural hormones. In the end, they're still a hormone, just like a synthetic hormone would be, which is similar to like a birth control pill or the old estrogen that was out there on the market called Premarin. So anyway, we kind of stick to the bioidentical realm because we're in that natural space, I guess. And it comes in different forms. So we use compounding pharmacies. So you can compound a cream that has one or two or three different hormones. Can be like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone for females, mostly just testosterone for men. There's also troches, which are dissolvable tablets that go in your cheek, and they dissolve through, like your spit and your cheek mucous membrane. And those aren't really used a lot, but that's an option. There's also patches that stick to the outside of your skin, and then pellets, which happens to be kind of a fan favorite in our clinic, are little compressed pellets or tablets that we stick right underneath the skin, typically like the top of your butt cheek area. And they last, for females, 3 to 4 months. For men, they get about 5 or 6 months out of them.
Yeah. So Cole Jaskie's came in. He met with,
Yeah.
talked with Kenzie, went through all the questions, got his hormones tested, and you're like, oh, he's low on testosterone. That's probably why you're tired. You're probably deficient in a couple nutrient things. Now I'm going to put you on this along with this. That's kind of like the process of how it goes.
Yep.
So Cole, we'll get you scheduled after this.
Yeah. No, just interesting because I mean, aware and I've tried a lot of different, in our household, just a lot of different we're trying to be more definitely. I think we're in this transition period just overall as like the younger generation looking for more like holistic foods.
Yes.
Of like you're hearing, a lot of the dyes and a lot of the processed food. And I think there's really an
plastic.
uproar, of that of just the population in general. So I'm excited to see that. And I think that's obviously probably a big why we transitioned to maybe one of the most obese, countries in the world, which is, everything's convenience and processed, it's fast and processed.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. It's unfortunate, but we obviously live in a world with very high obesity, high cancer, high disease, and disease. But I think people are realizing like, oh, I don't want to be 50, 60 or older. I want to like take care of my body from all ages so I feel better going into retirement. So like what benefits can people expect once they've gone through like your program, and I shouldn't say program, but I've met with you and got something that you guys thought would be helpful? Like what benefits can they feel?
Well, honestly, they don't even have to. Like we have some people that come in and they're still kind of scared about doing the pellets or like doing the hormone stuff. So we have really good vitamins that we will do and that are just better absorbed and that are more natural as far as the hormone stuff goes. And so even just starting somebody on a good, just
Quality
everyday,
supplement.
multivitamin with some vitamin B, vitamin D, like all of those things is going to get you feeling better just right off the bat. And then they'll be like, okay, well that really helped. And then they'll kind of come back in and say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this or try something different too. So
it is really interesting because when I did mine, I remember my magnesium was really low. It was number one. I think that's like a common one, but I was sleeping terrible. And I remember like, okay, get on some magnesium. And then you're like asking questions about childhood and all this. I was like, what is this? But it's crazy how it all really impacts your gut health in your body. And I remember like putting on digestive enzymes. I'm just giving listeners some examples of things you guys can kind of put them on. So how often do you think people should be checking their blood and hormones? Like what's that because I think it is a more common thing where you hear people like be more proactive instead of waiting for the doctor, because you don't really do much at your annual exam with the doctor. You're kind of like, you look good. You got some normal
feel good.
levels.
How do you feel? Good.
Yeah. Like
blood pressure's good.
This is a much more measurable approach, I would say. So how often would you say people meet with you or continue?
So our general clientele age base is 35 to 55. And that's generally when, men and women are in those child rearing years where, you're stressed, you're tired, you're working, going from activity to activity. So that's our biggest population that comes in to see us. And they are in that same boat where they're like, they have all the symptoms. And so that probably is a good starting point. But from there, it just depends on what treatment they do. If they're doing hormones, we might do a small little panel every 3 to 4 months. If someone just wants us to monitor their thyroid or cholesterol or something, it might be every 6 months or maybe annually. Kind of depends on
very
the person.
situational on the person.
Yeah. And it's different for us too, because we don't send things through insurance. So everything is out of pocket. We can send labs through like out to the hospital to have drawn, but insurance will only cover them so often.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Come on, insurance.
Yep. So like if you come in and have us draw them, like you can get them drawn whenever you want, because it's out of pocket and it's usually not as expensive as going out to the hospital to have them done. So like if someone comes in, every time they come in to get it draw, like every 3 months or so, I'll say like, is there anything else you want checked? Like, do you want me to rerun anything like vitamin levels or your lipid, your cholesterol panel? And they'll be like, oh yeah, let's check that. So we can run it a little bit more frequently if they want to, but yeah, typically we don't run like big full panels, except maybe like, once a year or whatever. Yeah.
We do specialized labs too. So I use an outside lab hub that I can order like gut health testing, different kits.
Like food sensitivity.
Saliva cortisol testing. So those kits are shipped to people. Sometimes they have to bring them in for us to draw, but sometimes it's just a kit they can do at home.
Yeah. So, it's overwhelming how much is coming out to like the tests you can do and what you can check. But I do want to get back to something because I feel like it's very popular demand. We were talking about this before and off mic is the weight loss. So talk about someone who maybe is like struggling with weight loss, or what does that process look like? Because I think that is something people are very interested in, men and women.
It's a kind of a media frenzy right now too, with the GLP-1s and different things going on.
Yep.
So for sure they'll start with the phone call, to Kenzie and the kind of the onboarding questions. And then they come in for a consult just like they would for functional medicine. And it's kind of the same questions, but goals are different. We might tweak lab panels a little bit. We talk about all the options because we don't just do the new latest and greatest GLP-1s.
There's so much information about them out there.
Yeah. Most people want that, but that's not all we do. We do some older medications too. We always start with lifestyle nutrition. We're always like hitting that nail all the time.
Yeah, like just don't take a drug. We want to make a change so this is sustainable.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be a hard thing though, because I do feel like there's this instant gratification. Like I've heard my friends even talk about, they're like, have you seen blah, blah? They look like they've lost. I wonder if they're taking like Ozempic or whatever, they call them on. It's like, it is interesting to think about like,
it kind of feeds our the culture of the instant gratification. So it's scary, but it's also I'm sure very helpful and a lot of people it makes complete sense for.
Yeah.
And there's a stigmatism around it. I think people just want it to be skinny, but honestly, like speaking from experience, like it's helped me. Like I'm down 40 pounds.
Wow.
But like just that appetite suppressant, there are some people, like I was an avid workout, like I went to the Coliseum. I still did not lose weight. Like I've just been like that, like a thicker person my whole entire life, and I think some people it just doesn't work. And if, they'll say, oh, it's all about willpower. You just don't have the willpower,
That's not true.
Like stop doing this and get to the gym more. It's like we have a lot of people that are like huge into working out and running.
Absolutely.
And, they still just can't get that last 20 pounds off or whatever. And so it does help. And it's crazy the brain noise that it shuts off. So
really?
I could be sitting and thinking of like, Andrea laughs at me because I know where all of the cookie places and ice cream places are. I'll be like, ooh, that town has a really good ice cream.
We're on the same page on this.
So I'm like, I totally like, I'm thinking about that before like my next meal, and that's kind of, I'll be like, oh man, there's a big old thing of Oreos in the pantry. Like I'm going in there, but it shuts that need off. It shuts the brain noise off and it just helps you to not feel like you need to snack and you're fulfilled quicker. So like where I still go and have a burger and fries, but it's like half a burger and just a couple fries,
I'm eating the burgers, fries. I'm getting the ice cream. Once I'm in, I'm in. Like I'm committing to the bad night.
Yeah.
I'm out of sight, out of mind. So if it's in the freezer, it's probably going to get ate, but if it's not there, I'm okay. I can
So it's like, it's crazy for some people. I'm like, there is the stigmatism there and people frown upon it, but in all reality, like people's cholesterol levels are better.
I was just going to say the health.
The metabolic side of it is huge.
Yes, because it is unfortunate. We do live in a very, instant gratification culture, and it is hard to lose weight. And I just think the risk of like being overweight or not being able to lose the stress that comes with, I know the stress, like, oh, I just want to lose 15 more pounds. Like it probably outweighs that. So just doing it probably with people like you guys who are educated, who can explain what you actually need to be on and walk you through that process is great.
Well, there are weight loss clinics out there that you can walk into, get your syringes they'll draw them up for the month, you walk out. There's no follow-up. I've had several people go online, find a clinic, get their syringes shipped to them, and then there's no
just
follow-up.
Like from a questionnaire or like,
what?
Oh wow.
Like,
From the Hims or hers.
Hims. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing that I feel like I've strived to do is we are a legitimate, clinic. Like we're a health clinic. We're a wellness
We're not Amazon on wheels here.
So if you come to us for weight loss, we're going to see you. We're going to draw labs. We're going to monitor those labs. We're going to have you come in to us every 3 months to step on the scale and see how you're doing. Are you having any side effects? All those things. So we kind of take pride in that aspect of it, that we're not just a fly by night.
Yeah.
There's
a relationship.
Some coaching.
Yes.
Sounds like
coaching
going
and education, our favorite words.
Yes.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket with 2Ks.com. or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digital agent at spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.
Let's do a little dollars and cents.
Oh, dollar bills, y'all.
Oh, replacing Cole.
That was great.
Don't tell Cole he's been
Cole
replaced.
is definitely getting replaced. All right, since we're on the weight loss and the Ozempic or all the different types of brands, we're going to talk about the GLP-1 market. And I looked this up, knowing we were going to talk about some of this stuff today, and this is crazy. This is from Roots Analysis Business Research and Consulting. So they, some business
study.
name out there did a study. I'm sure there's multiple GLP-1 studies, but it's on the market, how big the market is. Right now in 2024, this was early 2024, the GLP-1 market is $49.3 billion. That's at the beginning of 2024. Yeah.
Billion with a B.
Yeah, with a
That's
B.
huge.
It's expected to grow by year 2035 to $157 billion. That's 11% compounded growth in that market. How
So
big
there
that
is a
market
demand.
Yeah, there's
There is.
crazy demand, and I think as the I don't know your terminology, but it has a lot of different, not just weight loss. I'm sure there's other things or more traditional methods that it's used for as well. But
if you think about too, all the money that you'll save on people not being obese.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm thinking of
developing
Medicare,
chronic
like we have
disease.
Medicare issue, right? Or like our social services funding of like, if we can reduce, diabetes or whatever it is,
Yes,
obesity,
for
different
sure.
things that come
Heart
health.
disease.
Heart
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, heart
the
disease
number
and
one-
obesity. I was just going to say.
I think you're seeing, the Medicare spending to those types of medicines skyrocket, because some of that, it's obviously can be a preventative medicine, but also, I'm sure there's a lot of weight loss.
Well,
stuff
again,
there
I
too.
think this is why, got in such a great time into this world, but people want to take control of their health, but they also want to be preventative. They don't want to wait till the disease comes. And I think that's why all these things, and obviously there's going to be trial and errors with any path you go down, but it's just like wanting to be an advocate for your own health. So which you guys help and support.
Yeah.
But
So buy those GLP-1 stocks.
talk to your advisor. No, don't put that. We'll have to re-edit this. You guys do, let's transition. You do the med spa stuff too. Botox, M-Face. I don't know what that is, but you're going to tell me. But tell me the other side of the business people that they can come to. Because Botox and all that's hot topic. I'm 35. It's about time I open that door.
Once you start, you can't stop.
That's what everyone says. That's what everyone says.
in the circle of, my wife's circle is pretty much all dabbling or on some type of,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know my terminology in
Yeah,
that world,
Cole's
but
like,
I'll leave it to
just
the
know.
professionals here.
Yeah. So what do you guys offer outside of like the wellness stuff? Still wellness, but more spa.
Spa stuff.
Yeah.
In addition to what you said, the M-Face machine does high frequency tightening and toning of the facial muscles, builds hyaluronic acid, collagen, all the things that the face, first,
So is that
fine
like-
lines and wrinkles.
Like replacing Botox, or is it?
It can
It makes it last
yeah,
longer.
it can
enhances.
be an additive, enhances. That's a good word. Yeah.
So what
enhances it.
What does that do? Like you just lay there, or like
Yeah.
what is it? Like I don't know.
So we're not supposed to really say it's like a TENS unit, but it is like a TENS unit. Like it sends like the electrical stimulation. So like when you're sitting there, like you're making this very ugly, like you feel like you're making a really ugly face because it makes you kind of
Contracting the
squint.
muscle.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's contracting your muscle. So you just lay there. It's a 20-minute
Treatment.
takes about 20 minutes, and you can do 2 areas at once. So like you can do your forehead and your cheeks, or you could do your cheeks and your cementum, which is what most people want. And we kind of brought this on too because it's the semaglutide or the Ozempic face,
the saggy,
yeah.
So
So
Oh, because when you do the weight loss drug, I'm sorry, when you do the weight loss drug, your face kind of has.
You kind of lose the muscle tone in your face. And so this helps bring it back. But it also helps with like fine lines and wrinkles because there's like 3 different things that the M-Face, this machine does. So it's the patches. Then there's like a ultrasound machine that like plumps. So like if you, on a Friday, if you have a wedding on Saturday, you come in, You can get your lips plumped.
What?
It's like an alternative to filler.
Yeah. So
Oh.
it uses heat and it just kind of plumps your lips. It can help like around your eyes for fine lines and wrinkles. It again, you can do your chin. So like you can do your whole face with the little ultrasound, and then it does microneedling, which the microneedling also induces the heat, and so it helps break down fat, but then it does tighten the skin and just helps with the lift. So there's 3 different things that
And like
it
evening
does.
out the skin and
Yeah,
things
like dark
that.
spots or
I just feel
I'm a little
bad.
embarrassed
Yeah.
how interested I am in this. So I was like, this
Men
is
can do it
fascinating.
too.
This is fascinating. I'm just like fascinated that
Yeah.
there's a lot of avenues that you guys are
even-
going down.
Yeah, and for men, so we have that machine, but then we also have the Neo Sculpt, which is really big for like men too. I know on the coast it's really big for like bodybuilders or,
Muscly guys.
yeah. But like that's another machine that we do, but that's for the body. So it feels like a baby contraction. So like if you're doing your stomach,
Every
like,
guy should do it.
yeah. So it's
So,
like
like,
equivalent to 20,000
20,000
crunches.
crunches, a 30-minute session.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
that'd be
can
nice.
do.
So it can be an additive. It's not to replace like
Yeah.
the gym, but like
no,
definitely
but
a
yeah,
toning
it adds.
additive.
So you can do like your abs, your obliques, your butt, your thighs,
Your
anything.
arms.
Yeah.
Really? How long
so-
do you sit with that bad boy on?
It's 30 minutes a session, like an area. So say you wanted to do like your obliques and your abdominal area, you would be there for an hour.
Is it like
And
a
it's-
wrap or how does it go
Yeah,
on?
thank
I'm
you.
like,
Yeah,
is
we use a wrap. It's
and
a,
it basically,
But they're
It
like
holds it on.
paddles.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
there's different ones. So like you can do your biceps, and like when we were doing the training, Andrea put it on, and like midway through, her arms just start flapping.
it does it without,
Yes,
it's like taking that.
you're contracting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like doing curls without doing curls. So it's kind of.
Do you
it's
feel
fun.
sore, like the muscle soreness when you're done, or that's how I was wondering if.
No,
Yeah.
some people will say they feel like maybe they did something, but it's not like pain when
Well,
you
and
go
it
to
goes
the
through,
gym.
Like if you haven't squatted in 6 years and you go
Yeah,
squat and
no.
you can't walk.
Right.
Yeah, it's
No,
not,
no.
not like that.
It does like different segments. So like it'll do the contracting, and so you'll feel like you're like holding a contraction, but then it like kind of pounds on you. So you're like laying there and it's like beating on you, but that's what it
It's a
kind
series.
of, it relieves the lactic acid in the muscles that builds up. So then that
So even if you work out frequently, that would be kind of nice
It
to
would
go in.
tone
and
you
do
up
that.
a little bit.
Supplement.
yeah. Yep. And so we have like the arms, you can do arms, all of the things, but
I just need to plug here on the medical side of our sculpt machine. It just
Yeah.
got FDA approved for medical reasons, like atrophy of the legs. Like for instance, people that maybe can't walk, or maybe they've got some health condition that they've got a lot of atrophy of their muscles. Oh wow! So we can use it for that. We can use it for post-surgical circulation. So like you can do the calf.
Oh, that's awesome.
squeeze, muscle
Pre.
spasms. Like pre and post, like say knee replacement. That would be a
Yeah.
good example.
Oh, that would be a
Yeah.
really
to
good
strengthen
one.
muscles before they go into surgery.
That
So-
makes so much sense because I feel like a lot of people struggle.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
post-knee
just got FDA approved or cleared for that.
That's exciting. I feel like, do you guys feel like aging is so different compared? And I'm sorry, Dad, your generation like just didn't have the same.
no.
Like think about these machines and these tools. It's just so. I mean, we've come so far. It's almost intriguing to see what's coming down the pipelines. Like, do you guys
Longevity is the thing.
think? Yes,
right? It
yes.
is.
We were kind of talking about that offline about just like all the science behind sugar and eating and all these things. So like, what's the future hold? Like you guys, I think you mentioned a future partnership with.
Oh yeah. So we partner right now with the Face Place estheticians. They do amazing facials right now, and they're running our M-Face machine. So they incorporate some of their esthetician stuff with our M-Face machine for that. So we're hoping someday we'll find a location that we can both be under the same roof and be able to
collaborate.
Yeah.
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 That's
And-
awesome. And you guys have one other location, right?
Yes, our Lake City location, which is really booming. Like we've been there since July. Was it July 1st we went? And when we first went, our first 2 people, it was like a garage. Like we hadn't gotten in there to like do
Literally
anything.
a
Like the
table.
Botox parties they had back in the day.
Yeah, it's like just come on in.
A table
but-
and one chair.
Yes.
Just like sit there.
Yes, but those people just came back this week. So
Yeah.
it's like they're still coming. But yeah, we have a location there, and we're there 2 days a month, typically on Mondays. And yeah, it's rolling out. Like our hope would be to be there more often,
Every
or at
Monday,
least
maybe. Yeah.
And then your Fort Dodge, talk about your hours here at your Fort Dodge location.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and typically like 8 to 5-ish. We do Tuesdays early. We're like today we were there at 7:30. So we accommodate work hours.
That's
a little
the
bit.
beauty of being in your own,
Yeah.
your own business.
Sorry, we're taking some of your work hours,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
appreciate you taking the
It's okay.
time to be with us.
It's
So.
all right.
Yeah.
What would you give our listeners practical advice who have like heard this podcast or they've been thinking about functional medicine? What would you tell them like about maybe getting started or why they should get started or why they should come work with you?
Yeah.
Just call, first of all.
Yeah.
Just call and ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when people call, like I'm pretty open and honest. And like, I think that helps when you're not like calling an office and I'm like, you're going down your list of things that you have to say. Like I try to get involved with patients and, like get more of a friendship with all of them, so they feel like they can open up and talk about different things, like I think mainly it's just being nervous to like take that leap. And you hear bad things about the weight loss or bad things about hormone replacement. And it's like, once you come and talk to Andrea and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
You understand what the method is.
So it really just about calling.
I think too, some people are maybe turned off by the cash pay, but you have to make a personal choice,
Invest now or invest later.
Exactly. Like what is your health worth? And,
I'll plug
can't
that
answer
because I
but-
always tell people, I'm like, if you ever, this podcast, I'm a very big like money pincher budget. Like I'm like, don't
Very much so.
don't spend out of your means. But I'm always like, I will invest in my body and my health now because I don't want to be 50, 60 and not feel well. And I don't want to be like spending those years dealing with medical issues.
I hope this is the case, but when we do like financial plans, we're always like, hey, we illustrate people out to 90, 95, or if they have some longevity, but hopefully, we're
100%.
undershooting on that. And we have a lot of people, I'm like, oh, we're living, as we hopefully people start to invest more in their health and technology obviously helps us with that. But hopefully we have to, raise that to like 100, 105 where it's very, very common. So
Yeah.
My last question, Andrea. So what would you tell someone who's maybe, because you had been at Iowa Heart Center. I mean, for a long time, you probably thought you were going to do that your whole
Forever.
career.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell someone who's thinking of maybe going out and maybe not even just functional medicine, but someone branching out into their industry and trying something new and becoming a business owner. Like, what would your advice be or your best? Like, was the risk worth it,
The risk was totally worth it. I haven't looked back. I loved my time at Iowa Heart. Don't get me wrong, but it's a risk, but it's worth the risk, and do it if you can in a slow fashion. Like like set yourself up for success. Like, I took 2 years to kind of transition. So it worked out really well for me to do it that way because I was able to do that. But instead of like just jumping in and taking on all this debt.
And it wasn't so stressful. Like you had to take on debt. I got to find clients
Right.
now. This was more organically grown.
It was so organically grown.
you did a great job from the story of like, you let the demand kind of
Yes.
help with the decision, right? And that's sometimes people aren't in maybe that same type of, service or where people are booking appointments or something like that. But that's a great way to feel like, okay, I need more of your time, Andrea.
Yes.
You need to
Yes.
be here more because we've got more demand. So
and find a great person that's going to
be
great with people.
Right.
Yes, that's
I
always-
gotta find Mackenzie.
I tell her that all the time. I'm like, you can never quit. I'm like,
She's like, well, just let me keep doing this M face on my off time. All I want.
Yes. I'm like the perks, it's the perks.
Yep.
I'd be like, if I was Kenzie, I'd be like, oh, I'll help you. I'm just going to do an IV while I'm giving you one.
Yes. We've done that.
Yeah, But tell people where they can find you and if they're interested in working with you.
okay. You want to tell? the
Sure.
address?
So we are at 1728 Central Avenue. We're in Suite 10. It's the Caldwell Banker building. So I always tell people to look for the 2-story brick building. Our sign is like itty bitty up on their big sign. But we're just on the second floor of that building. And then in Lake City, we're right on the square and attached to the movie theater. So you can't miss us there either. But
about website,
Is it
online, Facebook.
Yep, we're all the present, like Rejuvenate_FD is our Instagram. Rejuvenate
FD.
FD.com is
We'll
our,
plug them in the bottom for
Okay,
you.
good. 'Cause I'm
Like Peter, the podcast
Okay,
producer's like, I got you.
Yeah,
I got
because
that
again,
handled.
we're terrible at doing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
and then remembering. So yeah.
Well, we're terrible at that. That's why we hire people to do it.
Yes,
Yeah, we're learning that. We're learning that.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your time. We know it's valuable, and we're excited for you guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
This was
thank
awesome.
you guys.
This was
Yeah, it
great.
Set your goals high and don't stop till you get there. Bo Jackson.
You've been listening to How to Money with Cole and Cole, the podcast of Full Swing Financial Planning. To learn more, visit their website at www.fullswingfinancial.com and follow them on Facebook and LinkedIn.
For now, I'm Cole.
I'm Bailey.
And I'm Cole.
And we'll see you on the greens.
4.
Security and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.